Okay, so in this unit we are going to be talking about relating, or you could say matching, graphs to a situation. And you could also look at this as analyzing a graph. Okay, so we are starting off with given some graphs, and we're going to just talk through what the graph might be explaining. So we're going to be comparing two quantities. So we have time, and we have, for example, maybe the height of a balloon. Okay, so, oops. Okay, so if I have a graph, let's see. Okay, so this graph is representing the height of a balloon over time. So my variables are time and the height of the balloon. Okay, so I want you to pause and just look at the graph and see if you can think about what you might be seeing. Remember, this is time, so over time. So as time is increasing, what's happening to the height of the balloon? Okay, so if you need to pause it, go ahead and pause. Okay, so some questions I'm going to ask is, why doesn't this start, if this is the height of the balloon, this would be 0. So why doesn't this balloon, the height of the balloon, start also at 0? I would think maybe it's because someone's holding on to the balloon and is releasing it out of their hand up in the air. So we're not setting the balloon on the ground and then having it float up into the sky. So I would think it's because it's being held in someone's hand. Why isn't this a constant line? Why is it kind of, you're going up, kind of leveling out, goes up a little bit, levels out, goes up? Why is it doing that? As opposed to maybe looking like that. And that's because when you have the wind to take into account, your balloon's going to be going up, then it might level out, or might even, maybe the wind will come down and pull the balloon down a little bit. Okay, and then what does this point represent? Right here. So this would be the max height of the balloon. And then what happens? Why does this just go woo, and then go all the way down to the ground? What happens? I'm guessing at this point, this is where probably popped. Okay, so that is just my interpretation of this graph. So there's different things to be looking for. Let's look at another scenario of talking about time. And the height of the grass in your yard. Okay, so the height of your grass in your yard. Okay, so over time, so we have the height of the grass. So the grass keeps getting taller and taller and taller over time. And then what happens here? What is that representing? This is representing when it gets cut or mowed. And it grows, and then it gets mowed again or cut. Why is this one taller than this one? Again, I'm just analyzing this. I'm thinking, okay, the grass is growing. We get it cut. Maybe we're going to go out of town. So we're going to, it grew over time, but we're going to cut it before we go on vacation. So we're not going to let it get as tall as what it usually does. Maybe this is when we're on vacation. And what happens to our yard? It gets a lot taller before we actually mow it. So the challenge of what you're going to have is you're going to try to match a situation I'm going to call situation a story problem or a word problem. To a graph. And there's probably going to be some situations where you are matching a table of information. I can probably call it data to a graph as well. So that's going to be our goals for this section.